Hello and welcome. Right, this is going to be a really quick catch-up because, to be honest, yes, I'm not going to belabor it. We've done our rice fields every day. We've got the animals. We're producing a lot of eggs. All of our chickens are adults now, and it's totally filled. So the eggs are about 1,902 litres per day. Likewise, about the same in milk. And these are 80% reproduction, so they're about to fill the enclosure already because of this is one thing that I do think is a positive thing for the channel. We do go through the years, we do show a good throughput of, especially in FS25. I've definitely done that better than FS22, only obviously the game itself is a bit of a letdown at the minute, although I can see the potential. But yes, the entire session has really been me chatting about whether or not I continue as a content creator, because I think I'm failing to create content that is enjoyable. Because the real crux of the matter is that my videos, they're not watched for very long, so people are flicking through. Now, I don't mind if that's the norm and if people are still entertained, but you're just going to get people do 5.5 minutes, I think YouTube said was the average time that people are viewing my videos. So you think, I mean, I know that doesn't mean to say that you've got some supporters. You may have 20 core supporters who watch all of your entertainment or all of a specific one that they like. That's good enough for me. I'm never expecting any more than that. But anyway, I don't want to this wants to be the catch-up. You've got the rest. I'm just sort of warning you, that's what I'm going on. So from that perspective, I'd appreciate you watching it, because then you can give me a heads up whether you think, like I do, that is it time to hang up my hats? Because you have got to face the facts as a content creator, that are you creating content that people want to watch? That's the crux of any content creator, really. So what have we done? We've not bought anything this session. The tractors are amazing. We've got a really good set of tractors. We've only harvested this field because I chatted, and the other field, and we're going to do the next session, because I did chat the entire session for a change rather than going to a time lapse, which just slow things down. But yeah, it was basically telling you that I'm paying attention to the statistics, but I would really like your opinion whether it's a good or a bad idea. And that's one thing that I'm going to sort of say, is that the comments side of things, I've tried to engage with yourselves and let you see me and know me, and I am, with warts and all, I am who I am. But if I'm not entertaining, then you've got to face that fact that you're just too Marmite for most people to actually get to grips with your content or like the way that you do it. So right, and on that, yeah, I've set the worker going. On that, next session we will get the rest of the fields in, and then the session after that, I would have thought it'll be down to the rice. Yeah, so I'm not throwing in the towel yet. I am. The other thing is, FS25 is a completely different beast, and I will be tackling, and also I'm modding at the minute, so it's meaning I can add a unique element to, because I can just go out there and make a factory if I feel there's a missing bit, like I did yesterday on comms, and I made a silage maker. Yeah, I should show you, because this I'm quite proud of. And I've even got collisions already. Yeah, the mod hadn't got collisions. Yeah, so this is a literally silage maker made of wood. Quite pleased with that as well. It's obviously, all of the BI range is a bit battered. It's all, well, hence the price. So you can't have so that's a silage maker. It's a fairly decent thing. It makes grass and hay silage, and it does it quite well. A little too well. I need to knock it down a little. But yeah, I went out and did that in one evening. So it also has meant I can do an awful lot of other ones based upon what I did for the model for that one. And it didn't have collisions, now it did. I literally mastered that last night, and it was a lot easier than I thought it was. Yeah, it's, again, you live and learn, even as a modder. And I suppose that's what I'm thinking is my skill set better? No, I was going to say something. It's true. No, it is true. I've got to be honest. I love Disturb Simulations and I love what he does, but I find him... He's not a channel I can't connect with him as a person. I don't mean I don't like him, that's not what I mean. I can't connect with him as a content creator. Whereas Mr. CDP, his friendliness and all the rest of it, I really can connect straight away with that. And that's what I'm saying. Am I Disturbed Simulations? Is that me as well? You know, like some people are like that. But he's very good at modding. And he's obviously very much liked, got a good following because of his modding as well. And you like think, yeah, I mean, that's it. Am I better suited as a modder than as a content creator? Because I am actually knocking out some fairly decent sort of, at the minute, edits. But I also am, I mean, my edits are completely different now that they are becoming quite advanced. And I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm a massive fan of Omatana and recognise the fact that she also, like myself, tweaks more than she does create new. She can create new, and I'm sure I'm going to do the same. I know I am. But you can't do that all the time. But she belts out an awful lot of edits that are like, I mean, yeah, the TARDIS pack, all of that is just editing base game stuff, putting in some really interesting... I mean, she's brilliant. I'm not in any way, shape or form trying to like have a go, because that's not what I'm trying to say. She does what people really want and what people need, and she does it very well. She also creates small things, because space is a factor if you're going to do productions on the edge of your field, and they're a little bit cheeky, but not so cheeky that they're silly. Not like some of the productions that are just insane and therefore make no sense. Omatana's not like that. She does very well balanced, sometimes very generous, but not too silly. And I'm like, well, is that really for me? Do I carry on creating content, or do I just like slow this down and knock out one episode a night instead of the 2 that you're doing, and slow this down and just, yeah, see how it goes, and then do your modding more seriously? Yeah, these are all options. So yeah, I'd love to hear from yourselves. Really would. Yeah, on what you think, or whether my modding's too much, and that's one of those things that's now upsetting people. I don't think I've actually aired enough of the ones that I've modded on at present. So yeah, that's going to be in the future that you see those. I mean, I'm obviously completely caught up with my content because I'm creating the content, whereas you yourselves, you couldn't possibly have seen all that I've done because I've not posted it all yet. So that's what I mean. But anyway, yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the session. Right, I was just checking, making sure everything is sorted. The animals are all happy. Did we have... Oh, it's going to rain in a bit. I think we've done everything, literally. If I remember rightly, all we've got to do now is check out... Well, we also want to check the rice fields. I don't want to get caught out. Oh, no, done it. Yeah, we did. I can see it already going. Fantastic. Now then, so... How are we doing... But 1,245. Yeah, we've only just started doing this. I mean, let's be honest. They've not exactly been in long, have they? We've got quite a few nice things though. 3 productions. The Preserved Food Factory being our main one. So canned eggs. Now I think we can start to sell the eggs now rather than actually stick them in. I do think that we ought to. Distributing. Why are we distributing noodle soup flour? Huh? Why? If I click that by mistake one time, perhaps. Oh, that's going to be like deactivated, can't it? Because it's like not going, nor is that at the minute. So we may as well deactivate it. Oh no, actually the rice flour one, wasn't that actually active? Yeah. Yeah, it was. That's why it's not going red. Right, so whereas that also, that's not, because we're not going to be doing peas this year. So, yeah, right. So that is that. We check. Yeah, I know we're a bit skinned, aren't we? Yeah, we are really skinned as well. So let's go through till the morning. Yeah. Fantastic. Quite a poor tick up, but then they aren't always fantastic. Definitely not. Oh, of course, we have got the original one, haven't we? Yeah, going forwards on like new Let's Plays, I am like doing testing our own mods, and already I've found like mistakes that I made with the things that you think are all right, and then you play with the mod and you think, oh, wow, I've not, yeah, that's not quite right. They're not terrible. They all work. Do little tiny things that need addressing, so I've addressed most of them already, so I'm quite pleased. Right, so it's June. Let's just go through, because I doubt very much, because we'd filled the animals completely, so I really can't see. Let's go down this way. It looks better than jumping over a precipice, even though as a human it's not that difficult to just, yeah, you're not even like jumping the hole. You could lower yourself, couldn't you really? So that's what I'm saying, it's not really terrible. Fantastic. And we can go to the first... Oh, hang on, have we done all three? I think we did, yeah, I'm just like... Yeah, no, or did I do the first one, or had I gone past it? I can't see any water. No, I didn't. Right, okay. I think I presumed, right, so eggs, I'd imagine. So I'm not sure if we did, right, oh, wildlife, they didn't go down a lot, did they, because of the meadow? I don't know why I'm complaining. They're going down about a ton a day. So really, we've got 7 months supply of food within there. The eggs are like quite a lot already, so that's 2677 every sort of day. So let's go grab the eggs, but we don't need to put them in now. I think what we'll do is we shall stick them up like in a pile just off the trigger, and then we're going to sell them, which, let's be honest, we've got a lot of chickens, and so therefore we're producing a lot of eggs. Then you would, wouldn't you? Let's be honest. I think if we just move the full pallets, yeah, how do we get? Yeah, it's true. It's not that easy. And as I showed in the last session when I actually lifted them and did it, it's very easy to. Let's just try and get this without trampling the other one. Oh, they're not liking it. I think that's because one's sort of not properly. Yeah, I think it was. No, you wouldn't drop them like that in real life, would you? Definitely not. I don't particularly like the eggs that are being done like that. I don't. It should work. I don't know if I've done it on my new trailer, because I've got all of the trailer connections on this one. Just fill this ready for tomorrow. Oh, actually, if it's 1,000 litres a day, that'll actually just about last. Grass, we have you on the, but to be honest, as we saw, there was, yeah, very little. So what we'll do is daily pilgrimage, we'll stick the eggs. Oh, my life. Did we not? I thought we grabbed the milk. No, it's the air. So I'm not a massive fan of this, but it was the only place. You don't always think of the consequences of what it would mean, but in real life you'd have to approach this away for like getting your milk stacked up. Yes. Luckily they at least do overtake you now, so it's not terrible. What's the point? Yeah, you've got to think of a better way to do this, because you're always going to have one. If you do them on top, one of them's going to collapse in the middle, but you can't get to the back until you've done the front, so it's a bit of a Bit of a quandary, really, on how would you do that. Like, I thought so. Yeah, we're going to get the top one as well with this particular type of trick. Okay, in that case, we're going to have to really do it like that. And I'm not sure if we're going to get the top ones. You do, but you've not got them all. So, you know, I think what we'll do is we should come back for 2. Wow, it is. It's quite impressive, actually. Yes, I was thinking on productions, like making new productions, and I thought, yeah, but you can't make new productions, really, can you? You can't like make. You could make things like strawberry cakes, and you could simplify the. That's the day. You could simplify the thing, but what I mean is, like, you can do strawberry cakes, and you could do. You can't do like something that doesn't exist because it doesn't exist. You can create elements though, as the lime, the person who made the liquid lime proved it can be done, but I mean, whoever did that was an absolute genius, really. Yeah, I mean, absolutely a ninja of modding, that is. I mean, I've looked at that script and I'm like, I mean, I'm a scripter, I do it for my job, and I'm like, oh my life, that is so super. I don't even understand what you've done with that. It's that advanced. Yeah, amazing bit of scripting. I'm gonna do that. Just sort of back on the other side angle. Okay. That should do it. That's why I don't like running around on roads. It's just so... Oh my life, that was 4 tons. Did we not do it yesterday or something? Because that seems an awful lot for one day. I would say that must be 2 months, and I mustn't have done it the month before. I don't think that can be right. The Bionic Dairy, though, is really stupendous at this. So let's have a look and see how we're doing with that. So it's now got 3761 and 720, which is 3. It's 2.1 tons. It's not too, it's not too shabby. And bottled milk 10 goes to 20, 288, 2,880. Bottled milk, and the goat cheese 800 times 3, which is again, about the same. It's 2.4 tons of goat cheese, and it doubles like the goat milk. The super duper one for goats, obviously not quite as good as the butter for. I'm trying to think of the name's gone. For buffaloes, that's the one. Yeah, for the buffaloes, that is stupendous. But yeah, in the dairies, it was like stifled in the Giants one, especially the mozzarella. I know it's expensive, but you can't have it take 10 months or 12 months to make 1 ton of butter. I mean, 1 ton of like cheese. It's just awful, just because it makes it well. It's like 8,000. It's not like the end of the world. It's not, like going to break the bank or anything if you do something like that, is it really? But it looks like that's what Giants were thinking on it. It's, they have been on Twitter. Right, anyway, we've failed everything. We've done that. We haven't checked the sales. Now then, straw and a baler, which we have got, and a 7.5 metre, which we've got also, and a 12 metre corn header, which I don't think ours. It can manage it at present, but we're not really doing corn or sunflowers. So we're not likely to either. The oil with steering clear, because we're doing other things. I don't want it to be that we're actually doing that too. So, right, Okay, well in that case, it's June, I believe. We're ready in July. So let's go through, I think is what I'm thinking. What am I looking at? July for oats is... It is indeed July. It should be July for us as well. Let's look at the animals. Because for once, yeah, no, we just did them both. We didn't do those because they didn't need doing. So yeah, we've taken everything out there. So let's just go straight through to the month of July. We've done everything we... Ooh. Check. I don't think you will, but yeah, it's true. The last couple of months you don't seem to need to do it, but it's always a good idea. Ooh, you see? Perhaps it's random. Perhaps it is a random thing that you actually... Ooh. That's bizarre, because so real time we were only a little while, so therefore it's still flooding, but it's saying it needs flooding. So the animation's still running, which is a bit confusing for you as a person. Yeah, it is about really, actually. It's got to be a time thing, hasn't it? A real time thing, that. Otherwise it wouldn't still be running and then saying, you need to run me again. That is a little bit of a strange one. Not quite... Well, there's a lot in FS25 that's not quite shining, right? Definitely. You could definitely say that. Right, let's go through till... yeah, even giants are apologising. So, obviously, I think they must have heard the fact that there are a lot of very unhappy people. Right, let's go forward to July. And we will check the sales, and then we are going to get cracking with our fields. I feel a time lapse coming because there's a lot to do. Yeah, I can't help but be disappointed. I was going to say I'm a little bit down. I'm looking obviously at statistics, and it's not about how many people. It never has been. It's like the average view duration is sort of like both down and not very long, and you're like thinking, I've got to be failing as a content creator if like people are watching on average 5.5 minutes, because it's sort of like it's not even watching. I mean, I've only just started to do the catch-up session, so it's not even like that's caught on yet because they're advanced ones. So you like people are like looking through and no one's particular, and you like thinking, well, if people aren't really enjoying the content, you could play the game yourself and not produce the content. Yeah, it's not. It really isn't about how many people. It's just about, well, is my content? You know, I'm not doing something right. You know, for like that to be the case, because people are not entertained. And that obviously, I mean, I know I've said I am Marmite, and that is true. That's definitely 100% true. That I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I understand that. But the people who are watching, now, you I care about. Because obviously, you know, and it's sort of like, well, what am I doing wrong then? Because could I address this, or is it just that it's time to throw in the towel? I mean, never ever approach this as like for cash, ever. I mean, I've been doing it now for years, and that's my point. You don't mind doing it. I mean, I'm quite used to sort of seeing 20 people view a video, and again, usually it's sometimes quite, it doesn't have to be, yeah, I mean, it can be like with the day that you actually upload them, but still, unless the analytics are wrong, which I doubt that they are, it's telling me that the average view duration is literally like 5:31. So that means, oh, okay, it does mean that some people may be watching. But yeah, do you know, seriously, you know, there are sometimes words fail me. on the absolute idiocy of these drivers, that you can actually see where I've just dropped that, and you just decide that, oh, I'm going to go and drive with that. Oh, no, I'm locked. Gordon Bennett. Yeah, I mean, I try for the main to be quite... I thought you were supposed to stay inside the edge of the field. We're outside the field, so why are you, like, moaning, you absolute wally of a driver that just not fit to be called a driver? Can't avoid something like that. Sorry, I'm a bit down, but it is true. It's sometimes you do have to, like, face the thing with, oh, well, are you, you know, like, what's wrong? What am I doing wrong? And again, I know my style is completely different from everyone else, and you like think, well, that's my point. Is my style so different that I'm not entertaining? Or you've got to, as a content creator yourself, start to think, well, how do we give? Yeah, let's give you you know, because you're the newest member of the team. I always like to favour them a little bit when you get them first, and I do love this tractor. It's definitely more than capable of, like, using the baler. I think the whole team are, though, now that we've got that beautiful fence. Yeah, I mean, I try to be... I mean, I do a bit of Giants bashing, but then only on things that I think the Giants need bashing about. Did I actually? No, that was yesterday. Ooh, we haven't checked the sales either, I don't think, but you never know. It's not... Ooh, you see, and that's my point. It's not about thinking, it's about checking. Yeah, so I have seen this way these last couple of months. You don't do any of this, so this seems a little bit more than I'm used to doing. I would imagine the animals are... Yeah, I mean, we could easily, like, not feed them for 3 months and they'd still be happy because we've, like, topped them up to max. I mean, in real life, it does represent the fact that you would, like, be, you know, going... So it's 2 tons a day, so it must have been two days that I'd actually 80% reproduction. These are about to fill the enclosure. That is amazing. We know these have filled them. So the youngest ones are, oh my life, they're all adults now then. So eggs are, again, 1.9. I always want to say tons, 1,902 litres, because it's not tons, because things are of different weight. Yeah, it's, I think you've got to, when stats say, well, it's obviously I'm a bit lackluster. I never really, I mean, I watch my own videos in editing, and I could watch them, which I always sort of gone with Mr. CDP's golden rule, but obviously slightly different for myself, because I don't expect everybody to watch all of the episodes, all of the time lapses. I would, I mean, I did start a long time ago to, like, put a before and after the time lapses. I did that for a few episodes, but again, it never altered anything, so I thought, well, I don't know. Always I've noticed that my view duration is not fantastic, always. But if anything, I'd say it's got worse. Or has it always been bad and I've, like, ignored it? And that's the question, isn't it? You sort of think, well, Daggerwin and all of those great names, I'm quite sure that their view duration is good, and a lot of people watch the entire episode, which means they must be doing something right, which then you sort of question, well, am I doing something wrong? Yeah, am I so different from what everybody's expecting that people are like... And I mean, most of the viewers, the rate of subscription, it's fairly constant, so you're not losing, like, subscribers a lot, which you sort of think, well, you're a loyal bunch, but you sort of think, well, I've never really got a lot of feedback ever. I mean, Kevin and that have always been very, very supportive right from the very beginning of the channel, which is really great. It is, and he is sort of let the cat out of the bag, but he is one of those people. I always wondered who it was, because I'm like, there's always 1 or 2 likes. Now, I'm a small channel, so I'm never expecting a Mr. CDP 220 likes, because I might not even get 220 views, and I certainly don't expect everybody to like it. Now, Kevin's one of those ones that is liking them like every video, which is brilliant. Whether he watches it or not, yeah, I can see that, because he has got a life. He'd have to be living and watching all of my content all of the time, and no one's got time for that. Really, right? I think you want to drop the bail up. Yeah, so it's if one of your best viewers or one of the long-time supporters of the channel is obviously doing that, and he's the like, you know, I mean, well, is it time to hang up your hat? Because if no one's enjoying your content, I'm just doing it for myself. And that, I mean, right back in the beginning on Lone Oak in FS19, when I first started to create content, I always struck a chord within myself where I said that obviously you're friends that I've not met yet, and it's true, I've always treated it like that. But what I'm saying is, if like it's rubbish, the content that I'm creating, I know the quality is good, that's something I've always insisted on, that's something that I can control apart from where videos go wrong. And I often wonder, if I was a big name, would I ever release one of these substandard videos, or would I just roll back the episode and just do it again? And I thought I probably would, because I've got the time to do it. Whereas if I did that when things go wrong, I don't know, yeah, perhaps that is one of those things where you like think, well, is that an area you could improve? But then that doesn't alter the click-through rate and the times that how long people watch things as a rule of thumb in the first place. So yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on the figures, and I will make a decision. Yeah, there's like with anything, and this is not about, it's not about success. I've said this, I'm really not bothered whether, if I only get 20 people view, if those 20 are entertained, then I'm happy. But if those 20 are just like flicking through the videos, you like think, well, I can't be terribly entertaining then if that's, you know, what people are doing and that's the norm. And if that is the norm, you like think, well, I really do go to quite a lot of efforts to create the content, and if it's really a subpar in comparison to what is classed as good content, or my idea of like the channel, you know, of like going through everything, I'm not willing to compromise that. But if that is sort of so different to what people are expecting, so therefore they're not happy with the way that I do it, then you think, well, isn't it time then that you really hung up your hat? Because if you're not entertaining, then really it probably is time for you to hang up the hats, really, and maybe just concentrate on modding, which I've really come to sort of love. I mean, I will still play the game, that's one thing I am going to say, you know. I mean, this have gone one step more than I've ever gone this time, because I'm voicing this. I've many times thought for a brief second, but I've always thought, oh no, it's yeah, it's not, it's very quiet. We don't want to go down the hill either. Right. Yeah, I've never voiced this ever. I always thought I could see enough, but I'm just not sure. I mean, FS25 is new, and obviously there's an awful lot wrong with it. It's very difficult to spin it in a positive light. I mean, it is good. It's still a good game. I can see that when Giants, I can say, because it's a bit like FS22, they didn't tackle half of the things that were broken in the last 6 months. They just ignored the manure thing totally, and that's broken in FS25. So you like think, well, you didn't even do that in FS22, so are you even going to do that? Quite an important aspect of really probably one of the main animals in the game, all the cows. It is one of those things that's a given. Of course, we all love like all the chickens, and they've all got their place, and if you were going to do specific businesses, of course you've got to have your chickens. It goes without saying, and the same as sheep, or now goats, which is quite amazing. I quite love that fact. But what I'm thinking is, obviously, I can play the game easily and play maps and all the rest of it. And if no one's really entertained by what I do, and only I'm playing to an audience of one, then I'm wasting an awful lot of my life on doing something that's really not. Yeah, I think you've got to be honest with yourself and really sort of look down the bore of the gun and sort of face facts sometimes, and I'm doing so. Yeah, I've never been one of those. Always said of my dad, love him dearly, but he would carry on with the business like long after it was saturated the market with his product. And I remember one of the businesses that he used to sell video machines, and they were really good video machines, like top of the range, maybe older, but they were really good ones. And he would like buy and sell them, and every time he sold some, he would buy some more, and in the end he'd got a stockpile. And I'm a little bit like this, a bit obsessive compulsive, where I can be like that, and I think it's like that's one of those things that's stopped me before, because you sort of look at the stats and say, I mean, as I said, it doesn't mean that there aren't 5 people that view my videos all the way through with a particular series, which that to me is, I'm quite happy with. And I suppose if there were a lot of flickers, it is said nowadays that people's concentration threshold is terrible, so that might be that everybody has it, where everyone's flicking through and nobody watches the whole episode. You know, people might do that as a rule of thumb. Or is it that the hobby that I've got in Farming Simulator is not everybody's cup of tea? Now then, what we said we were going to do bread, didn't we? That was the thing we were going to do. Yeah, obviously we do the noodles, but that's, we've not got enough to keep that going forever. We need like another sideline, so I think it will be bread. We also need our little, yeah, because I think the big one, can we do the big one? Well, we could. Let's see, let's go and see, can we retrieve the little one? Because oh, that's the big one. All right, what do you do? Yeah, it's not that tall, is it really? This is actually quite a nice long. So we'll stick this. Something to turn. It could be damaging crop. Yeah, what I'm sort of saying as well is that it may also be the fact that FS25, with all of its bugs and that, it's just, you've got to ask yourself the question, you know, like, yeah, I mean, I suppose it's a bit like we all view people and they're good at singing, and their friends will say, yeah, you're really good at singing. And they obviously continue, and they sing, and they sing the heart out, and their friends are telling them that, but you've also always got to ask yourself, how entertaining am I? You know what I mean? Am I entertaining? Because that's the primary goal for you as a creator of content, is to, and obviously this is my hobby, that doesn't change. But what I'm trying to say is, if Mr. CDP and Scroft and all the rest, who, like, I mean, I play the game, and I try to play the game well, and I don't think that's enough. That's what I'm saying. I'm obviously missing some of the key ingredients. Certainly crash a lot, which is probably entertaining, but apart from that, no, something me and Farmer Cotton both got in common, that we're both a little bit crashy, definitely. Yeah, so I am seriously wondering whether I'm just going to continue as a player rather than as a viewer of content. But I do, and again, this is not me, I'm really not one of those people ever that cares about like a sympathy vote or anything like that. Really not. That's just not my style. But I'd like to know your opinion, and I suppose that's it. It's that to go first. I think we'll go down this way. Yeah, it's something that more and more for the last few months, when I look at statistics, that I think, I'm really not feeling it. Comments have never been a massive thing, but I'm a little channel. But you sort of, always have tried to engage, and I do view my comments, even though I have always been played with like things that are not quite right, as in like the comments don't always show. And there's been sometimes like where a week it's like YouTube don't particularly care about my channel, and I don't get the comments for a few days, and then all of a sudden it'll appear, and I think, oh, that's a week old. I've been posting every night. And there is one bad flaw I have got, and that is that I don't. Yeah, the way that YouTube does the. Let's just get settings again. Yeah, they've also changed it, and that's the way you put your videos onto YouTube. Yeah, I'm not a terror for not paying attention. Like, my lists are all very well organised. I'll do it every now and again. I think, oh, they're in the wrong order. So you're relying on people like clicking. I mean, don't get me wrong. As I said, in some ways, people do watch. And there are some people with certain ones that watch almost instantly. So it's not quite as cut and dry as I'm making out, because I've sort of put some videos up and like I've not even finished, and then there's 2 or 3 people who watch that, and I'm like, well, that's a good sign, surely. And that's what I'm trying to just sort of do, is assess with this, is like, is it is it all bad, or can I live with the fact? And I can, really. That's why I've tried to meet everybody head on with this sort of issue of like length of viewings, where I'm actually putting a catch-up session where I'm telling you what I suppose I've got this bits as well. Yeah, like a catch-up session where I'm doing a couple of minutes or 3 minutes or whatever of catch-up. Now, did we check? No, we didn't. We've already got another lorry. We're sitting down there doing absolutely nothing. Beautiful John Deere, but again we've got low to high range. I'm quite happy with the lot we've got. So yeah, I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Really? And again, even those who are not massive supporters of the channel, if it's time for me to hang up my hat, if 2 or 3 people that it really is, your content is absolutely, and I'm one of those people who I really do appreciate, apart from the hecklers, where I had a comment that being a noob channel, and I thought, actually, mate, you're barking on the wrong tree, because Marty said, oh, don't take any notice, and I thought, I'm not taking any notice of that. If I'd got Kevin or Marty to say, Gordon Bennett, it's getting boring, then I would take notes, because they are the type of viewers that their opinion matters, and they've been watching the channel for a long time, and they would like to say, no, these changes you're making, they're for the worse, not for the better. I would take note. It doesn't mean to say I'm never going to change certain things, like the time lapse is about the only way you can show that everything. Maybe it's going to roll backwards. It is. That's not terribly well done. Looking. Lift. Yeah. Not any moaning going on that. I'm actually not. Yeah, so it's, again, patience. I've always known that, but obviously I've not. Again, I am Marmite, and that I do know. So therefore, like a lot of people, you sort of think people are going to stop by and then they're going to go, because not everyone's cup of tea. Now that I understand, but the people that do stay by and do stop by, that they matter to me. You matter to me, and your opinion matters to me. And obviously, if everybody is not, then you got to be so careful, because they could just suddenly change their mind, that they don't want to do the next headland, they want to go the other side of the field. We've seen it with the pea harvester. It's like you think, huh? What's that about? trying to get into the mind of the workers, but it's a dark place. It really is. Yeah, I mean, I do try to be slightly humorous as well, but I mean, probably dry. Definitely not everybody's cup of tea. But I mean, I do try my best to not to bash too much. It was one of those things that I always said when I started the channel. I did want to be always like upbeat and that type of thing, which you can't always be. You've got, you know, but as a rule of thumb, I am not terribly pessimistic. It never has been the way that I am built, but that doesn't. I am also truthful, so I'm going to like not pull my punches, and I will say it how I see it, which is again not necessarily well liked in this day and age. But yeah, I mean, we're doing these straw bales, aren't we? We're not really doing anything with them at all, but they're really, on the scale that we're doing them, it really isn't worth even taking them to market. We could probably, I mean, we've got that beautiful Anderson now, so we can actually grab them together. We could build up at 24, but yeah, that was going to take us years. This is the first time we've really gone off the pea thing, and that's just to give the soil time to recover from the peas to do a completely different crop. I mean, yeah, I'm moving because I knew you were going to do that. I knew I was too close. Yes, it's, I mean, I suppose what I'm trying to say, as a virtual farmer, I try, and I've tried like for a long time to up my game, as in to become more realistic. But again, you're like thinking, yeah, but is that what people want? Or do people particularly care when you, like DJ go around, he'll, like, he doesn't care about going around corners with his plough because, you know, people expect that of him, or expect for him to find a way to flout the system on camera and show that you can do things in a different way, or this piece of equipment you can do super duper fast at full speed and things like that. And obviously people love that. He is a very popular channel, and that's what I'm saying. Whereas, I mean, I'm little, I'm not expecting the scale because I'm not even a known entity. But what I'm saying is those who do know me, if they're clicking through the videos, at that point you've got to like look down the barrel of the gun and think, and I'm putting this in a literal sort of way. Obviously, as a life and death type, that, you know, that's the whole analogy. That's why I'm just saying looking down the barrel of the gun, because it is one of those things. Are you about to pull the trigger on the entire thing because your success is waning, not waxing? You know, like your best days are behind you and they're not terribly good. That's sort of what I'm saying. I've always tried to sort of play hard, and also to approach it as a bit of, as the game that it actually is. Whereas some people approach it in a story thing. That again, I'm not that kind of person. You've got to stay true to yourself, otherwise you're just not going to be entertaining anyway. And I thought I'd got enough to offer at the beginning that it would be entertaining, but I'm now wondering, is that the case? So I'm not just gonna down tools and like pack up in this. I'm just putting it out there that I am scrutinizing now, and I'm also trying to make improvements, because you do, when you sort of see these things, you think, well, there is a need for, there are some things, as I said, that I'd rather throw the towel in as a channel than give up certain key beliefs of like, you know, like, I'm not like everyone else. I'm not going to do montages because they can cheat. I don't mean that they do. That's not whatever. I'm not saying Scroft is cheating with doing montages at all. What I'm saying is, you don't know. A chain of evidence. I always go on about that. I always bang the drum about, I've got to show you. But it was also, no, you don't have to do it because you've actually already done it. Yeah, it's important to me to show you, but it's not important to me that you watch every second. I know full well that I'm not expecting everyone to watch every single second, but it's like the view duration is really, I would say that people are flicking through if the average view duration is 5.5 minutes, it sort of means that people are flicking through at the beginning and they're like trying to find the core, which is why I thought, well, if people are doing that, why don't you give them that? And I thought, well, that's not a bad idea, because I do realise we do live in a time when people's attention span is small. What I mean is our expectations, yeah, let's put that in a nice way, because it sounds quite horrible and I don't mean it in that way. Yeah, people's expectations of entertainment has sort of changed, because there is some really good and there's some also really lousy, like content out there, as in whatever, like movies. It's almost like all these thousands of channels that we've got have not made things better. So a friend of mine was saying this. We used to have like 3 channels and then it became 4. It's like the content was better when we'd only got those 3 or 4 channels than it is now that we've got hundreds. Yeah, on Netflix and Amazon Prime, I've got both of those myself, and I gotta be honest, it's all the type of things that I can't, through my beliefs, won't watch. Whether it's the occult or graphic violence or magic or things like that. In a grand scale, I have always been a Lord of the Rings fan, because it's high fantasy. That magic doesn't feature in the universe much different to our own universe, so I've always had that as my golden rule. Whereas something like Harry Potter, that I won't watch, because it's truly about magic, as in the whole thing is this, the whole entire thing is all about magic, or like sorcery, or all of those type of things. I'm not going to watch that. Not even Marvel, that I've watched everything. Do I watch Doctor Strange or anything that is really about magic? He's the one that he might be, but he's a wizard, so therefore I won't watch that one. But I watch all of the others, so I've always been a massive Marvel fan, and I will watch all of those, and have watched almost all apart from Doctor Strange. I think WandaVision, obviously she's a main character in that, so really it was more brought out that she was like mental powers than a lot of things, so I never really had any problem with that, but more of a mentalist than anything else. But yeah, it's what I'm sort of saying is that perhaps it is that there's already enough farming simulator content creators that, like, my way of doing things is like, people are sort of saying, well, it's not entertaining, mate. And that's what I'm saying. There does have to come a time when you have to look and think, well, I'm listening to you. I am listening to what you say. And if it isn't entertaining, then I am wasting, banging the drum, wasting my time doing something where I could just enjoy doing this myself, or doing a bit of modding. I knock at an awful lot of content, and apart from the fact that, as I said, and it is maybe one of those areas I've got to improve in, where some of it though, I'll give you an example. Zilonka. Obviously, I recorded those. Always do now, because I realise how important it is to make sure that your volume is. Now, obviously, I had a couple of weird glitches where the volume was like, I think actually after this one, because I'm trying to think of real time on how long this has been with me just chatting. We'll finish after this, because it's not fair. I want to carry on with the next two. We'll do a time lapse. But I just thought it was important to actually sort of say this. I might do a bit of a news article as well, that I'm considering like hanging up my hat, because I just don't think I'm entertaining for people really, and that's a serious drawback if your primary purpose as a channel is to entertain people and you're failing to do that. It does, because I say there's no monetary, never has been. I've never been paid a single penny because my viewings are never high enough. Now that has never worried me, because I was a new channel and a growing channel, and my subscriptions have steadily grown, which you always think, well, that's a good thing, surely. And as I said, is this norm, this view durations, it's never been massive, and it's just that I should be focused. Should I have focused on this sooner? Because that you don't get any direct feedback. No one says, "Oh, you're awful, mate. You're absolutely awful." You know, but it's sort of like, because let's be honest, most people are quite nice naturally. Right? Yeah, we ought to while you're up this end, we ought to like literally, yeah, because you really are 94% full. Yeah, so I'm just literally putting it out there. I am considering it. I mean, I've sort of, yeah, with FS25, there's an awful lot more scale. I mean, the one thing I am going to say, and FS25 has made me realise that I did rely way too much on the fertiliser mods because they were very lucrative. But I also realised that, well, some of that was down to the fact that actually, though I was not a modding then, and there were a lot of things, areas where the mods were inadequate to make a good business. And a lot of people released fertiliser mods, meaning that that was one of the primary things that you could do. Yeah, there were straw to manure mods again. There was quite a few niche products that you could sort of run with and things like that. But a lot of it boiled down to like fertiliser, making fertiliser. Now on FS25, the productions that I've tweaked and actually made are quite good. So yeah, I've done a silage maker now, which I'm quite pleased with. And I thought, well, do we make the stretch from straw? Are we going to do that, or we do the straw to manure, straw to silage? Because obviously the thing, no, I'm going to like attack me or even like stay on track. Oh, okay, before that's needs addressing. Some old bales have been around for a couple of years. I mean, it does happen. And luckily, round bales are the better of the two, and square bales for like not rotting as easily. You know, and these can survive rain and time better than square bales because of the round shape. I remember Frithgard sort of explaining that obviously round bales are the hardest to deal with. But they are actually the better of the two type of bale, even though the squares are popular, obviously, because they're easy to stack. It's a VHS and Betamax sort of thing, isn't it, really, which one is... But again, round bales don't go away, because some farmers that are good at baling recognise that actually it is the best product, and it's also the cheaper one to get into as well, which I would imagine that also is a deciding factor. So it's, I mean, the FS25 is a completely different beast. And I mean, the other thing is I did notice was obviously end of FS22, the viewings changed. I had not expected everybody, I can't remember if Disturbed Simulation is still running on FS22. I thought, well, and no one's going to want to watch the old games. So I mean, there were even series I've got that I ran out of time to actually put them out there. It must be at least 6 or 7 series, little mini runs that I've not aired, and FS20 or that I've just put on in the archive. So I thought people aren't going to watch this now, they want to see FS25. But I mean, obviously as it is now, it's very, very limited. Even the manure's not working and lots of things are not right. And we've got, I mean, the graphical glitching's going away. I think that's being addressed, so... And I've got DLSS back on because it's better for performance, definitely, as well as its upscaling means that you get the. Oh, okay. What are you doing? You just like getting yourself into position. I was going to say, because normally you do your ups and downs, they're fairly reliable. With certain jobs, definitely, and definitely harvesting is one of those that they are really good at. Yes, I really do value your opinion, because I really am. I'm looking obviously for myself as well, because obviously I do realise that most people are not going to like fire the arrow into your heart, because which is why sometimes you've got to pay attention to the bigger picture, but you've also not got to overreact, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm only looking. It's also the beginning of FS25, and I do think that in FS25 I'm going to go, because I'm going to create things that are unique as well. Definitely, there's going to be a lot of that going. If I face a problem now that I'm modding, I will just build myself a factory, and it will be balanced, because I don't want to do ones. I'm going to do different like grades. I'm going to do a standard one that's like twice as good as Giants, and then I'm going to do a bionic one, like the Bionic Dairy. This is a super enhanced one that is going to cost you 3 times the amount, or double the amount than the original one, to represent the fact that the machinery is better, and therefore you would expect it to be almost as good as one of the big factories, almost, but not quite, because it's not quite got the throughput. And I'm trying to go with that level of realism, that I'm not doing the same as the big factories. Although I've got to be honest, I mean, some of the super duper, I mean, yeah, some of the costs, I'd like to use it a little to see how good. In fact, I suppose this could replace the flour making, and we could go for that, because it's a bakery and a flour maker. It does the 2 jobs in one, and it's stupendous. And I'd like to see how stupendous, and give it time to like, because there were a few mods. BD SSB made a cracking one. Was the only person that ever did quite a unique. He did a silage to fertilizer mod, because obviously silage is one of those things that you do. A lot of people on nearly every farm produce, and so I thought that was quite unique. No one else did anything like that. It was a monster. It was a very good mod. He's a very good modder. I've watched quite a few of his videos, because obviously I'm trying to mod myself. And then, yeah, I'm sort of thinking, where am I going with this? Where am I going with this? Yeah, because again, I don't want to keep going on and on and on, because that's not entertaining either. It isn't. I try always to stay up there, and I suppose, yeah, we've all got our skills. I was never very good at small talk. I'm not that kind of person, but I've had to develop small talk for the channel, because otherwise, what would I talk about with yourselves? So I tend to be a geek, and I can't stop that. It is just who I am. You can't like not be a geek if you're a geek. It's just you're the way that you are. So I tend to spout statistics, and I remember the horsepower, and I would tend to be quite a nuts and bolts type of approach to things, which again is another one of those things why I say I'm Marmite, because not everyone's going to like that. Yeah, you sort of like wonder what do you do, because you can't change. The one thing is, you cannot change yourself, really. You know, you are who you are, and if that's the big no-no, if you're not going to be able to, I'm not very funny, and that's never going to change. I never tell jokes, because I'm rubbish at telling jokes. Always have been like that. So therefore, as I've got older, I don't even try to crack a joke, because I'll kill it dead. You know, I'm like that. That is just, you know, I know that I'm like that. I appreciate good humour, but I will kill a joke dead, and you're like, huh? I just cannot tell a joke. It's just one of those things that I'm rubbish at. So what I'm saying is, I've got a colleague who's very much like myself, and he was saying about no one ever reacts in a certain way to him, and this was really about, he is very like me, very serious. And I said, Martin, I said, it's because, mate, you're like me. We're both very much alike, that we're very serious, and people never know how to take you. Whereas someone who's, you know, like humorous and light-hearted, they'll have a joke with you because, you know, they know you can take it. Whereas they're not sure with someone who's really serious whether you can take that joke or not, because they're not used to seeing that side of you. So therefore you're never going to see that, because people are unsure of how you're going to react. You're really serious, and so therefore, you know, it's, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Certain people have got a better disposition to be entertainers, and that's what I'm saying. Is there a missing ingredient with myself and the content that I'm creating, in so much as I'm missing the personality that is good for entertaining, good for channels? Because you really have got to, as a human being, realise that that is one of those things that could be true. Let's go back again. No. And I think that is something that no one can answer other than yourself. And as I said, I'm quite happy to carry on in perpetuity because I love creating the content. But I sort of keep asking, well, am I creating too much? I mean, I could really do normally rack up some content because I'm just showing you the journey. So that's easily done. I also try to make it dynamic. I always go on about dynamism, and it's true. That's why I do the time lapses, but I insist on showing you everything, but I insist that it's not, I'm not going to steal your hours, because each of these big sessions, they'll take 3 hours long. You've not got that time, I realise that. But it will be shrunk down to about an hour and 10 minutes. And it started off like some of the long episodes on New Frontier, where we can do quite a few months. And I'll literally go through those few months with yourselves, but I do recognise that you've not got forever to look at that. So I always approach it in that way. And that's quite unique. I mean, yeah, I suppose that's it. If people's expectations are a certain thing, then I'm not going to meet those, because I'm not willing to compromise what I believe is important. And that you've got to think, well, is that entertaining? And that's my point. So I'm asking the question, that's all I'm saying. So yeah, I'm not threatening to give in or anything like that. I'm going to really view this. The other thing is, I also am seeing this as a directly out. At least you're aware, but not like this by this. I'm going to stop. Yeah, I mean, I have sort of tried to make a positive spin out of this. When I realised and was paying attention to this, I thought, well, if that is the norm, why don't you try? And I suppose that's it. I've now tried this new method. I'm going to continue to try this, because I realise there's a lot of time in between where you see the video that I've started to create, where I'm doing this catch-up session. Let's get this in. And I think what we'll do is we will leave this, and we will go through and we'll do the other 2 fields next session. Yeah, because it's yeah, I mean, there is that as well. You like think, well, do I do too much time lapse? Is it that's a bit, would people prefer like sessions where the time lapses are not a thing, and they just see the farm a little bit more slowly done, and then you chat that entire way through? And I'm like, mate, well, I could try it. I thought I have done sessions where I'm chatting more. I mean, you can't always do that, but I do recognise that I am very much now very 26%. Yeah, we've been fairly thorough. Yeah, I mean, I've sort of like this. I won't leave the bailing till I will do it in the session, because I found that I can do it. There are ways you can do it, and this new way, where I'm literally dropping the bail. Oh my love, look at the resolution on that. Giants, this is awful. Yeah, you don't expect this on a... Yeah, all my life, low res meshes. Terrible. Right, well, that is where I'm going to leave it. Yeah, so I've got a question mark, really, for like whether or not the channel is going to continue. Because you've got to face facts sometimes, really, that maybe you've got to go in a different direction, that you're not entertaining, and that's a serious sort of thing, which I'm not like, and I suppose that's why I was bringing my dad in, just to sort of bring this to a close. My dad didn't recognise when to get out of the video business, and he pulled out, he'd got a room in Louth in Lincolnshire that was full of about 70 videos. Now that was his profits, and a good businessman would have recognised that he was saturating the market, and would have, that 70 videos that he just left to rot, that was his profit margin. It's not always advisable to keep investing in a business if there's never a return. And I'm not talking about money, not in this instance, but there still has to be a return, and the return on this would be that your channel would grow and that you're entertaining people. But if your channel, my channel has grown, but if you're not entertaining even those who are like stopping by, you've got to ask yourself the question, well, that's your primary motive, is to entertain people, really. And if you're not doing that, and there's certain key elements you're not willing to change, then have you got a future? That's the question you've got to ask yourself. And that is a very true question. As I said, my style is changing, and that's what I'm sort of thinking, well, do we just set this go for next time as well? Let's at least do that. Right, so then, yes, these are quandaries that I will have, and would love to hear from you, really, as to what you think, whether I'm overreacting or whether you think, yeah, you're right, really. And again, I really do appreciate candid talk. Yeah, I mean, I'd like not to stick a knife in my heart, but there are nice ways to let people off the hook and say, well, yeah, really, your content is not that entertaining, and then I'd be happy with that. I would. So all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope that you're going to stick with me on this and other journeys. And I'm going to say goodbye for now.